Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen. Today we are going to cook this piece of lake trout. I flew up to Howell's Fish in Wyerton, and you can see that adventure over on the airplane channel, and picked up this beautiful piece of wild caught lake trout. And to go with it, I'm gonna make sort of a rice thing. If you've been here on the channel for any amount of time, I mean, I've been doing this since 2007, I rarely cook fish, and I hardly ever cook rice. Two things that I never cook on the channel. So I'm going to try something today. I really don't have a recipe for either of these things. It's just sort of a relative, sort of a framework of what I want to do. I've got an idea of how long these things cook because I know that if I cook fish en papillote or in paper, you could do it in foil as well, and you do it in the oven. That's going to take about 20 minutes. So it just comes down to adding flavors that will work. And for the rice, it's kind of a pilaf-y thing, and we'll see how that happens. Now, they both take about the same amount of time to cook. I'm going to prep the fish first because the fish can go into the oven as the rice is finishing up cooking. So if I prep the fish now, it's ready just to pop in the oven at the appropriate time. Okay, so we're going to do the fish en papillote. This is parchment paper. It's just parchment paper. Could be tin foil if you're more comfortable using tin foil. I know that it sounds really snobby, but a lot of cooking terms come from the French because they were originally French terms. It's just the way it is. Just the way it is. I know that just drives some people in my comments section to distraction. First things first, I'm just going to put a little drizzle of olive oil down. And then we're going to take the trout, kind of rub it in the olive oil on one side, flip it over, lay it in the olive oil on the other side. Then I'm going to hit this with a little bit of salt and pepper. So I used to cook fish as a child all the time. I guess, well, not even as a child, up until university. Cooked it all the time. I fished all the time as a youngster. We lived on an island for about half the year, and I was always out in the boat, always catching fish, mostly pickerel and panfish, bass, perch, that sort of thing. Cooked it all sorts of ways, and that continued into university because of where I lived in the north. Fishing was a way of life. So, and then once I moved south, I stopped fishing and I stopped eating fish, and I don't really know why. I'm going to try and fix that. I want to go fishing more next summer. As soon as the weather heats up again, we're going to get in the plane and we're going to go fishing. So that's a little bit of shallot. The next thing I'm going to put on is I bought the tiniest fennel bulb I could find, and then I only sliced up about half, and I'm probably not going to use all of that. And it's the same sort of thing. I'm just going to lay it on top of the piece of fish. That's all I needed. I probably only needed maybe 1/10 of a bulb of the tiniest bulb of fennel. What's left of that fennel will end up in a soup. I've got a couple of soups. Same with the shallots. They'll go in a soup tomorrow. Don't know what the soup's going to be, but I know that I've got a couple of soups that use fennel and shallots. Next on, I've got a couple of pieces of thyme. That looks pretty good. And let's see, 3 thin slices of lemon. Actually, that looks really good. And some white wine. People ask me all the time in the comment section, what wine do you use? What brand of wine do you use? And I normally, without fail, use wine that's locally produced to us here in Toronto. So either Niagara or Prince Edward County. Even down as far as Pelee, where Julie and I went for lunch a few weeks ago in the plane, down to Pelee Island. There's a couple of wineries there that make great wines. This is a Sauvignon Blanc. It's just a dinner table wine. I got this at the grocery store today. It was $12 at the grocery store. Like it's not an extravagant wine. It's just going to bring, I think, the right flavors to this fish. And mostly what I'm looking for here is the alcohol to release some of the flavors. Alcohol is a solvent that brings flavors out. And also acidity to brighten the whole dish. That will work with the lemon to brighten the whole dish. So I'm going to pour some in. Whole idea with the parchment paper is that this parchment paper is going to act like a Dutch oven. And what's going to happen is we're going to sort of steam the fish, braise the fish, poach the fish inside the paper or inside the tin foil, if you're using tin foil. Now, there is a very a proper French way to fold your parchment paper. And if I was going to do it the correct French way, I would have a piece of parchment paper that was cut almost like a heart shape. And then I would fold it a very special way. This is a Thursday night in Toronto, and there's no need for that. So I'm just going to fold it and crinkle it down. Really what you want to do is you want to make sure that you can keep the steam from escaping and keep the liquid from leaving. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm building this on the tray that's going to go into the oven. This is an important part. If you learn one thing from this video, this is the most important part. Do it on the tray that you're going to stick it in the oven with so that you don't have to flop around with this fish in paper and try not to spill the wine out. Okay, so just set that aside for a moment and we'll move on to the rice. Okay, so this is kind of going to be a rice pilaf-y type thing. So I've got a pan, and I'm using this pot because it's wide, it's rounded at the bottom, it's got rounded sides, and it's easier for you to look inside. Probably not the best pot to do this, but it's the one I've got that works best for what we're about to do. So I'm going to hit it with some olive oil. Use any oil that you like. Use your favorite brand. Olive oil is one of those difficult things. It's one of those things that gets adulterated really badly, and you just don't know when you're standing at the grocery store which one to buy. I wish I could help you, but I can barely help myself. Okay, once our oil is hot, I'm going to go in with some basmati rice. And the idea is that you want to coat it with the oil and you want to toast the rice. This is wild rice, and I'm soaking it in some hot water. It's been soaking for maybe 15 minutes. I soak it because it takes a lot longer to cook. And it retains its chew, and it's got this great nutty flavor. So it doesn't need to have this sort of initial step of frying it. What we're doing here is we're changing the grains so that they don't clump together later on in the cooking, or it's to help prevent that from happening. It still can happen. We're also sort of introducing a little bit of flavor, sort of a nuttiness of flavor into the rice. And so we're just going to cook it until the rice starts to get translucent and you kind of start to smell it a little bit. You don't want to brown it. So I'm on like just barely over medium heat at this point. And I've got some chicken stock here, and I'm going to chop that up with a couple of glugs of white wine. There we go. That'll be good. Now, I'm going to drain the rice. And that's ready to go. Okay, the basmati rice is good to go. Looking great. So, some celery, shallot and onion, and that goes, and a little bit of cayenne. In with the wild rice. The stock and the wine. And I'm going to bring that up to a simmer before I put the lid on. So that's come up to a simmer. I'm going to put a lid on and I'm going to let that go, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to keep an eye on it, see how it's doing, monitor the temperature, but mostly hands off 15, 20 minutes. Okay, let's take a look. It hasn't been anywhere near 15 minutes. It's been about 8. That actually looks really good. Oh, okay. So the water is absorbed. The rice is looks pretty tender. I'd say that's almost done. I'm going to turn the heat off. The reason you don't see me cook rice very often, I use the same rice cooker that Julie and I had in university, a Betty Crocker rice cooker that we got from the grocery store. So we've had that 35 years almost, and that's the way I cook rice. And it only really does just steamed rice. It doesn't do any fancy rice. So I barely ever make rice this way because I just put basmati in a little rice cooker and have plain rice. Enough about that. So I've got some green peas because frozen green peas go in everything. They really do. They absolutely go in everything. So at this point, heat's off, lid's on. I'm just going to let that go. And we're going to put the fish in the oven. Oven's preheated to 400, and I'm thinking, I don't know, 20 minutes? We'll see. Okay, here we go.
Oh, hey, Glenn.
Hey, Jules. Oh, wait, there we go.
There we go. Thank you. Let me help you out there. How was your flight?
It was a good flight. I got some trout.
Oh, I like fish.
And so, of course, you're going to do this at a dinner party, and you're going to put this on a hero platter. And you're going to bring it out to the table and pull it apart, and your guests are going to go,
Ooh.
oh, that smells really good.
Glenn, that looks amazing.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah, just like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I hit my line okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh.
So, I've got a fish slice. Get some spoons, get some tumblers for that. The thyme can disappear. You don't need the thyme. And I don't know that the lemon is going to add anything on the plate other than maybe just to make it look nice on the plate.
All right. Ooh. I'm going fancy with the tumblers. Perhaps just half a tumbler.
That looks pretty good.
Of course it does.
Okay, so I'll have to go back to the tape. They probably already know. I don't think I put any salt or pepper in that.
Okay, well, what's the worst thing? I should've got some forks.
The chicken stock was salted, so it shouldn't be...
Okay. Did you need me to taste it first? Because I could do that.
No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Absolutely fine.
Okay, so piece of fish. Put some rice on there.
Oh, I should have picked a bigger spoon. You know me, I always seem to pick the wrong size utensil. There we go. Ooh.
Make it special.
Of course. Looks pretty good, Glen. There we go.
Cheers. Right. So that wine, nice and soft, a little bit of acidity, is in both the rice and the fish.
All right, I'm going to start with fish because I'm excited about the fish and I already tried the rice.
Oh, I haven't tried the rice yet. A piece of fennel with that.
That's lovely.
With the fennel. That's really nice. Yeah.
Even better with the fennel.
Okay. A little bit of the rice. Let's see. That's pretty good. Okay. I like the earthy, nutty flavor that the wild rice brings to it. Just soak the wild rice a little longer. I didn't soak it to the point where you can soak it to the point where it bursts. And that's normally where I would soak it to the point that it bursts. That makes it a little softer when you cook it. I didn't soak it that far this time, and none of it has burst open. I could eat that for dinner.
What a great idea.
Okay. So we're gonna, I know I said this when we did the cod stuff from when we came back from Newfoundland. I should cook more fish.
Yes, I agree.
Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.
What's the screech for?
Oh, well, it's November, so it's eggnog cake time.
Ah, okay.
Oshawa Tower, Foxtrot, Mike Victor Uniform, holding short 30 on Bravo, ready to go.
Mike Victor Uniform Tower, straight out or right turn, report 5 northwest, wind 030 at 5, from Bravo, clear takeoff runway 20.
Cleared 30, report leaving the zone, Mike Victor Uniform. Airspeed's live.